China is usually shown as megacities, crowds, factories, and skyscrapers, but hidden across the country are places that look like they should not exist. Mountains that inspired alien worlds, roads carved through cliffs, glass paths hanging over empty air, temples built into vertical rock, villages that seem trapped in the sky, and landscapes so strange they look computer-generated. This is the China most people never see. In the Guoliang Mountains of Hunan Province, thousands of quartz sandstone pillars rise nearly 1,000 feet straight out of plunging gorges. These vertical columns are the remnants of ancient sediment deposits, 380 million years old, shattered by tectonic shifts and sculpted by millions of years of water erosion. Heavy, persistent mist frequently blankets the valley, completely swallowing the bases of the spires. The forested tops appear to float weightlessly in empty space, a natural illusion that inspired Hollywood designers and prompted park officials to rename the 3,500-foot southern sky column Avatar Hallelujah Mountain. On these sheer walls, fragile vegetation clings to narrow cracks in the bare stone, defying wind and gravity. Local myths speak of ancient spirits guarding these cliffs. Humans have only recently built a 430-meter glass bridge across a 300-meter abyss, forcing walkers to look down through triple laminated panels, rated for heavy loads. But that is only the beginning. The next location proves that humans can match the terrifying scale of these cliffs, hacking a passage directly into the vertical stone. In Henan's Taihang Mountains, the isolated village of Guoliang was completely cut off by sheer vertical cliffs. In 1972, 13 villages, led by Shen Mingxin, decided to hack their own way out. They had no heavy machinery, using only handheld hammers and steel chisels. For 5 years, they chipped away at the solid stone. The human toll was real. One villager fell to his death during the construction. By May 1977, they had completed a 1.25-kilometer tunnel, measuring just 4 meters wide. To clear the suffocating dust, the workers cut dozens of crude rectangular window openings directly into the cliffside. Today, vehicles squeeze through this narrow single-lane passage under a ceiling of raw, scarred rock. The road was built strictly for survival, ending generations of complete isolation. But while this tunnel carved a path through the mountain, the next destination forces humans to step completely outside the rock, clinging to the sheer face of a 2-kilometer abyss. On the sheer eastern face of Mount Huashan's south peak, 7,000 feet above the Shanxi valleys, the path narrows to 30 centimeters of weathered wood. This is the Chongqing Plank Road. 700 years ago, a Taoist priest named He Zhen hammered stone nails into the vertical granite to support these pine boards, creating a passage for monks seeking spiritual purification through absolute exposure. For these pilgrims, stepping over the abyss was a test of faith, a deliberate confrontation with mortality. Today, hikers must wear a mandatory single clip harness locked onto a steel cable from start to finish. There are no guardrails. The safety line does nothing to quiet the instinct of survival. When looking down at a 2,000-meter drop, faith and terror still occupy the exact same ledge, where a single misstep leaves you suspended in empty air. But the next place looks even less real. 300 miles east, modern engineering has replaced weathered pine boards with sheer, terrifying transparency. In 2016, builders on Tianmen Mountain opened a walkway suspended over a vertical drop of 1,400 meters. Here, the ancient pilgrimage to the summit becomes a modern trial of trust in industrial physics. Instead of old iron spikes driven into granite, visitors step onto triple laminated glass panels, 6.5 centimeters thick. Each panel is rated to hold 1,000 kilograms of weight, yet the illusion of stepping directly into empty air remains absolute. The roughly 100-meter path clings to the sheer cliff, accessed only by a 7,455-meter cable car, the longest high mountain passenger cableway in the world. Beneath the floating cabins, a highway of 99 sharp bends snakes up the mountainside, a gray concrete ribbon cutting through the steep wilderness. It is an environment engineered to manufacture absolute vertigo, turning a sacred ancient peak into a theater of extreme high-altitude exposure. The ancient spiritual quest is now cast in steel and glass, forcing humanity to confront the abyss with nothing but modern design underfoot. Then China gets even stranger. In the sheer canyon walls of Shanxi, a fragile timber complex hangs 75 meters above the canyon floor, seemingly pinned to the bare rock. Built in 491 AD, the Hanging Temple, or Xuankongxi, defies gravity through ancient mechanical genius. Inside, statues of Buddha, Confucius, and Taoist deities share a single cliffside ledge, united in silent endurance. The weight of the structure rests on 27 horizontal, cantilevered, wooden beams. These beams are driven directly into rock socket joints, locked together by traditional mortise and tenon joinery that allows the wood to flex during earthquakes. Recently, conservators reinforced these joints with hidden steel plates, preserving the illusion of a floating sanctuary. The temple survives 15 centuries of wind and seismic shocks through absolute structural precision. But while this sanctuary resists gravity through woodwork, the earth itself behaves even more impossibly farther west. In Gansu province, the dry earth mimics a saturated oil painting. The Zhangye Danxia landform consists of Cretaceous sandstone and siltstone, deposited over tens of millions of years. This ancient sedimentary base owes its striking red, orange, and yellow banding to iron oxide pigments like hematite and goethite, which oxidized and stained the rock during 24 million years of erosion. From a distance, the mountain ridges look edited, a physical illusion of color. But this geologic miracle is incredibly fragile. Foot traffic can destroy the mineral crust instantly, prompting strict visitor controls, mandatory raised boardwalks, and a targeted 2025 color preservation initiative designed to protect the pigment layers. Here, human presence is reduced to quiet stewardship, treading carefully over a canvas sculpted by wind and rain. Yet, while this painted desert feels like a dream of the ancient world, the next destination turns the impossible into concrete and steel. And this final city may be the most unbelievable of all. Chongqing is a vertical megalopolis of 30 million people built where the muddy currents of the Yangtze and Jialing rivers collide. In this high-density environment, steep mountainsides dictate the shape of the city, forcing a dense, multi-layered grid that expands upward into the sky rather than outward across flat ground. This vertical reality has turned bridge building into a survival mechanism, spawning more than 20,000 bridges, including 105 ultra-large spans that vault over deep river canyons to link separated cliffs. On these sheer slopes, infrastructure and housing fuse into single structures. At Liziba Station, an elevated monorail line runs directly through the 6th and 7th floors of a 19-story residential high-rise. To make this structural collision livable, lead designer Ye Tianyi coordinated the building and transit system to share a single blueprint, anchoring the rails to independent pillars. The trains glide through the apartments on a specialized pneumatic suspension system, dampening vibration so effectively that the monorail passes as quietly as a standard household appliance. This is a permanent, functioning urban system where millions of residents live, work, and commute inside a stacked grid of highways, skywalks, and high-rises. Chongqing, stands as a real-world monument to human adaptation, proving that when the Earth refuses to flatten, humanity will simply build an entirely new reality in the air. These impossible environments challenge our very definition of reality. As modern civilization pushes into increasingly extreme frontiers, these places are no longer mere anomalies. They are a blueprint for our future, proving that when humanity is pushed to the edge, the impossible becomes inevitable.